Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Viva Las Vegas, that's where I am today. How are you, Sean-Luc?
My fellow traveler, how are you doing? So how is Vegas? How's Vegas? I have to ask.
Vegas is interesting. I expected it to be hotter, but from since I arrived yesterday, it's been pretty overcast. So I'm actually
Okay.
happy. I could just walk around. I haven't explored it at night yet because I was tired yesterday. So
You
tonight,
haven't explored it at night yet. Okay. Okay. You
tonight I'm
definitely
gonna explore
okay.
it at night. But basically, this morning I went out. Was pretty dead. Basically, anything before 11 a.m. is it's like dead. Like the
Dude,
shops open at 11.
dude, Vegas is going out and partying and sleeping till 12. I,
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
don't
I
I
figured.
don't recall having a morning and well, I had a morning, but we're talking about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning kind of morning. That's
Yeah.
that's the kind of morning that's typical for Vegas.
So I adjusted my sleeping schedule a bit today, and probably gonna be a long night tonight. And tomorrow I'm heading out to the Grand Canyon.
Oh, okay. So you are actually planning a kind of a nature trip. Okay, I'm gonna send you over some things you can do tomorrow morning before 10.
I'm heading out tomorrow at 6.
Oh no, then it's not necessary at all. Okay, no, then you're good. Then you're covered. I'm not
I
I'm
can
not
still do
worried
it
at
on
all.
Thursday, because I'll be here
Okay,
on
yeah,
Thursday.
I'll send you off some more fun stuff to do, which is a little low budget as well, but also kind of entertainment that you can do during the day.
Right. I get
Um,
that.
yeah, I've only been there once, but I had about 9 months to prepare that trip. So yeah, you can
Yeah.
say that I researched everything. But good, we're not here for Vegas necessarily. We're not here to talk about your hoodie. While I do want to quickly to ask you to pop it up. Okay,
Be friends. Yeah.
awesome.
We got
Yeah,
a lot of stuff to catch up on in another episode.
okay, definitely in
But
another episode.
we're here for
But
some yeah, you're running a program again. Why don't you introduce it?
well, actually, I'm not running the program. Ineffable is running the program. So the digital internship, I think the first edition of the internship was in 2017, I think, which was a physical internship, 15 interns for around 2 months, I think, or a month. And then in 2020, or 2019, we decided to do it digitally. So the Ineffable Digital Internship is a program that runs every year for about 2 months. Um, it runs digitally, so it's a full digital internship. Of course, we have some offline elements as well to get acquainted, and it runs for 2 months. The first 2 weeks are really about company culture, getting to know just how we like to structure, how our company works, and then we move from there to project management, content creation, and then the final month they kind of get to work with clients of ours, and that's basically the program. It's moved up a little bit because it used to be in September and October, but it's moved up now to July, August because we need full preparations for the social media conference. And you can imagine that for the last 2 years, kind of combining the internship with a preparation to the conference wasn't the ideal situation. So we changed it up a bit. So that's kind of the introduction. But today we have four awesome interns with us: Sham, Luciano, Lydiane, and Mitchell. And they will be sharing with us how their experience has been for, I think, the last 3 weeks already. So without further ado, let's bring them into the show. Welcome, lady and gents. How are you doing?
Hello. I'm doing great. How are you
Yeah,
guys?
there we
Yeah.
go. There we
So I don't
go.
know if everyone can hear me correctly because can you guys hear me correctly?
We can
Yeah,
hear
I
you
hear
your
just
you.
your
fine.
sound is
Very
perfect.
Loud
clear.
and
Yeah,
clear.
Yeah.
So
amazing.
to kick us
Cool.
off, why don't each of you starting off? Let's start off with Sham, since you're on the top right. Give us in like 2 minutes who you are, why you're doing this internship, and describe yourself in one word.
In one word.
Yeah.
Uh, oh, okay. Hi everyone. Wherever you may be watching, listening, I'm Sham. For short, I'm Shamil. Um, why I did this internship is because I wanted to, um, yeah, I wanted to learn more about what social media was about and more in depth, and what the possibilities uh it could have, this the impact in your own life business wise, and just to have a clear point of view, um what's it all about, not only about the postings, and just to know the aspects of everything. So that yeah uh, I'm a little bit nervous, so
It's okay. It's okay. If you
yeah.
don't, if you can't find a word, just say it in Dutch. We'll translate it.
Yeah.
It's not a problem. For our international audience, it would be nice to have the English word for it as well. But if you're just uh, trying to translate it, just pull out the Dutch word and we'll translate it to English.
I'm
All right.
s-
Yeah.
I'm kind of and
Okay.
I'm still
But
working on myself. So yeah, I'm in one word I would say I'm socially awkward. So
Okay, fair enough.
okay, fair
Thanks.
enough.
Luciano, why don't you go next?
Hi there. So, my background is mostly in environmental things, in environmental projects and community projects. The internship I'm doing because I also think that social media is going to be in my future a lot. Doesn't matter what kind of work I do or what kind of personal things I want to do. I think social media is going to be part of it some way or somehow. So I saw this as a great opportunity to learn everything I can and about it. So that's why I chose this internship. At first, I was a bit afraid because of other projects I have going, but till now, it's still been possible to finish assignments and be on time. Yes.
Cool. And how would you describe yourself in one word?
How would I describe myself in one word? I'd say flexible.
Flexible.
It's literally my last what's it called letter of recommendation for my last project manager was please please hire him because he's flexible.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's a good quality to have. I'm gonna skip Lydia and we'll save you for last. Mitchell, you're up next.
Hi, thanks for that. My name is Mitchell. I'm 24 years old. Um, yeah, well, I do a lot of stuff. So let's just skip towards why I decided to do the internship. I already knew like social media is important, and I noticed that like especially social media marketing was like a big weak point in all of the different things that I do. Um, yeah, my parents run a business. A part of a lot of social organizations, and then you see like reaching people and getting out there is very important, and having like the skills and the proper way to do it. And there was also like I've been following this program for a long time. Like I think ever since the first one, I feel like, hey, I want to do this, but as Shanuk said, like it was a different period of the time every year, and I was especially very busy then. But this time it kind of just all worked out, and I was missing a lot of skills. And up till now, like I'm completely satisfied. Like the internship is like delivering everything I thought it would for me. It is a little hard juggling everything all the time. So yeah, they said it was gonna be hard, and they didn't lie. And but I appreciate the challenge, and I appreciate that actually somebody took the time to put together such a complete course. I'm like, you guys should be proud. Like, you guys should be very proud.
That's awesome to hear. Thanks for sharing that.
And what's your favorite descriptor for
Oh,
yourself?
I would like to say helpful.
Helpful.
Yeah.
Got it. All right, Lydiane, why don't you blow these guys out of the water?
Wow, so high expectations. Uh, Hi everyone. So my name is Lydian. I don't know if everyone can y'all hear me correctly. I always ask that because this thing
Yeah,
is
you're
not.
no, it's
Yeah.
it's it's working properly. Don't worry about it. We can hear you
Yeah.
loud and clear. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, so yes, I'm Lydian Reyso Di Mejo, 22 years old. I'm currently very much into content creation. Um, I have a startup that focuses on social media marketing, content creation, and creative writing. I'm also a freelance writer for Parboda and Basic Magazine, and this is basically my life. So why I chose to do this internship is because honestly, it was just on my feed, and I was like, oh, this looks interesting. It wasn't really something like, but then I started to read about it, and I discovered that it was really something very intriguing and something that would form me into the, how do you say it, dependable, reliable content creator that I've always wanted to be. And I wasn't wrong about it. Ever since I've entered this internship, I've learned structure, time management, a lot of planning ahead. I think that has been my biggest challenge because I do manage everything myself still in my startup. I learned the tips and tricks to keep it going with like Asana. I don't know if I'm allowed to share that.
Yeah, sure, sure. You
But
can.
like,
You can.
yeah,
I mean, it's
Asana
a
the
project
program.
management
Yeah,
tool, so
yeah.
it doesn't
They
matter which
they
one.
taught
Yeah.
us that, yeah, Asana basically makes sure that my head is clear. So I have been enjoying every single bit of it because I have consciously decided when I discovered what it was all about. I consciously decided, hey, this is the company that I want to learn from. Also because Ineffable is kind of a trendsetter. Uh, when it comes to these things, Suriname isn't very known for it. So whenever I see a chance that seems foreign or very not, how do you say it, very different and innovative, I'd even dare to say, then I just hop on the wagon. And yeah, if I could describe myself in one word, don't call me cocky, but it would be magic. Yeah.
Powerful.
Awesome.
Magic.
So I think the best part,
I get
Diego,
that.
is that if you look like completely like Mitchell is like Lilian is saying, I'm actually doing this, but I want to make sure that I get every aspect. And Mitchell is like, I'm actually not doing this, but I should be able to do this. And I think that's the great part of the program because there is not like one fixed type of stereotype of person that kind of jumps onto this program. Even Sham saying like I'm also doing this for the personal development side. Basically, Luciano saying the same thing like, hey, I'm just curious about this, and I think it's also interesting to see the different perspectives as well, because it's not like the program is like really you have to have a certain degree or you have to certain direction what you want to do with the internship, and that makes it interesting because I think you guys learn a lot from each other as well. So what I'm really curious about, like, what's one thing that you've learned from the program? Like you can say Asana, but you can say something else now, Lydia. But what's one thing you've learned and from the program, and one thing you've learned from another intern, or that you are grateful for that the intern mentioned that as well. And Diego, again, I'm gonna let you decide who goes first and second.
um, yeah. Why don't we go the reverse order, Lydia, and go ahead.
Yeah, so if I'm correct, the questions were what did I learn from a intern
One
and
thing,
what did I learn?
one thing
Yeah,
that you learned
one
from the
thing.
program that you want to share, and one thing that you
Mm-hmm.
learned from a fellow intern that you want to share.
All right. So I've learned from a fellow intern, Grace, that in the beginning I had problems with Google Calendar. Oh, I just hate filling that thing out. Jesus. I was like, how do you do this? And it wasn't that I couldn't do it. It was like I was lacking the motivation to do so. But then she taught me something, and she was like, "Oh, just do it. Once you start, you're gonna finish it. There's no stopping in between because it's gonna irritate you. So just start, and then you'll end." you'll finish it, and then it's you got it over it. So that's one thing that I've learned from Grace. Another the one thing that I've learned from the whole program in general is that uh how do you say, personal development is very important. If you take a look at the curriculum that was presented to us, every week we do have a personal development exercise, and that made me look deep within, like, what is it, what are your core values, what do you want to be, and why do you want to do what you do, so that's really important. And I think along the lines of doing your own thing, or being a content creator in general, it's very important to know who you are, because at the end of the day, knowing who you are will make creating content easier. So that's that I've learned. Yeah.
Awesome. And I see Sham unmuted already. He's eager to go next, I see. Well, you,
Um,
you already unmuted, so why don't you go ahead?
I yeah. One thing I've learned is um, from from the internship perspective is you have to act and don't wait. If you see something that you don't get at the um, yeah, nobody likes a know-it-all, but in a way, not negatively speaking, is if you don't know something, ask for help. Even don't go act like you're the um yeah uh
You're the expert or the one that
yeah
knows everything.
the expert in things. Um so yeah, in this internship, I felt really stupid, really. So I wanted to get my mindset at a certain level where I don't come over as stupid. So it's one of the fears I have. Um, so verbally, sometimes I can't really express myself. So sometimes I just show it through my actions. So I don't, um, yeah. But it, as Lydian said, I wanted to vet to the sorry, to I'm very nervous, to develop my core values, and the personal development assignments were very informative, especially um, the many the many speakers I've grown to learn and love. So there are many, but within the personal development assignments, there were specific people. So um, such as Simon Sinek, Gary V. Um, yeah, yeah, those two were most relatable for everyone because most of us could relate to the quotes that they said. So yeah, and mostly afterwards, I went on to search other um yeah other, how would you say that, other sessions that they hosted. So yeah, but and what I've learned from other interns is they're very helpful, they're very funny, and through the day they can say a lot of stuff that make me laugh, and sometimes I want to react, but at some yeah uh, sometimes I just stay quiet and just focus on being diligent in um, delivering my assignments on time. So yeah, I'm still a busy mind, such as Naval Ravikant said. So I could relate mostly to that. So yeah, and what Gary Vee said, we are only um, competing with ourselves because yeah, it's how would they say that again? Slow and steady wins the race. So yeah, I'm a socially awkward turtle. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So
Hey, you're doing a great job.
For sure, yeah, I
You're
like it.
here in front of I don't know how many people live. Uh,
live. Oh my god, I'm sweating. So
Oh,
Oh,
now you're really building this up. No, Sham, I
relax.
think I do want to say a couple of things based on what you said. First of all, you're doing quite well for somebody who was a little bit afraid of being in front and speaking out loud, like verbally communicating yourself. I think secondly, you should be proud of where you are in the program, because what you don't know is like a lot of people want to do this program, like really a lot of people want to do this program. And last year, because it was digitally, we actually invited, I think, 42 people to join the program, and 20 people within the first 2 weeks. 20 people were dismissed. Either they dismissed themselves because they were too busy and they couldn't do it,
yeah,
or they just we told them like, listen, you're not gonna finish the assignments, because basically the program, if you finish your first week assignments by week two, we basically just say like you're not gonna keep up the deadlines. It's not gonna happen. So this year, we really, when we were doing the selection process, I shouldn't say me, but our team that was doing the selection process, they really diligently worked out like, are you really able to make the commitment? And the fact that the four of you are here talking in social confos after 3 weeks should give you a clear indication that you're worth it, because we don't do this to invite the interns during the first week of the internship. We invite them like 2 3 weeks in, because then we know like, hey, they've done the deadlines, they're serious with their internship, and they're really to commit to it. So I think that's a very interesting thing, that you shouldn't be afraid to say like, I ask a lot of questions, because yeah, I mean, I believe there are no stupid questions. I actually ask questions that I know the answer to, just to make sure that the rest of the groups understands what's being said, because oftentimes not everybody understands it, but people are afraid to ask questions, and then people will be annoyed by the fact that you ask questions, but hey,
yeah,
you're the one making sure that everybody understands it. So I think that's something good to do as well. I quickly want to give a shout out to the people that are watching. Jill's joining in from Facebook. Robin, thanks for joining in to from LinkedIn as well. And Steph, yes, we're gonna talk about Hive, but just not yet. We're gonna leave that towards the end. We still have two more people to tell us what their favorite parts are. So yeah, Diego.
yeah. Okay, Mitch, you go ahead. One thing you've learned from the program, and one thing you've learned from someone else, from one of the other interns.
Okay, one thing that I've learned from the program, I've learned so much, but I think I want to focus on business culture. Like I really enjoyed the first week. Like I enjoyed how it set up and how it introduced you to the business culture at Inevitable and like what they're going for. And it kind of inspired me like to kind of go the same route. Like I like where I work, and I would say I thought where I worked was like a unicorn, but I like seeing that it was somewhere else. But like where I work is kind of still a startup. And stuff like I was like, that's mostly built just based on the team, but you guys figured out a system of getting that kind of ideal business culture, which is that's something I really enjoy. And Chem, then you know it. I don't get annoyed when you ask a lot of questions. You ask questions that sometimes I'm like, I already knew that, but then you ask that one question where it's like, oh, yeah, oh, good, hey, that's great. Then I didn't have to ask it. Why are you hiding? And yeah, I would have to give a shout out to my other intern Marta. She's helped me with TikTok. I know Marta also outside of the course, so she helped me with TikTok a lot. And yeah, those are the things, because I was never on TikTok. I just decided to do that. I was like, okay, let's try something new. And I don't know if I wrote it somewhere, but Like I've been around when Instagram came out and Snapchat, and I missed the boat on both of them. I was done. So I was like, okay, with this and this knowledge, I should be able to handle TikTok. I should be able to do it. So
Well,
yeah,
there's a shout out
that's
from
my
Marta.
that's a shout out to my oh nice shit.
Exactly, she heard that. So make
So
a
yeah,
TikTok from that.
that's where I'm at where I'm at right now.
Awesome. And last but not least, Luciano.
Hi, hi. So I have a similar story to my show because my background isn't really in social media, and honestly, TikTok is something I've been avoiding like the plague because I see how it distracts people. I was usually the coordinator in the field or for research, so I'm the person that's supposed to be like, "Hey, we need to be on time." So I was always avoiding it. But then one of the assignments, I think last week, was to make a TikTok video. So I downloaded TikTok and I had no idea what to do. And one of the other interns showed me around how to use it. We made a video together, the for dipping to get started. And now I'm kind of addicted. So the person who helped me was Grace, who was one of the other interns. She's very active on TikTok, looking gracious. She makes like makeup videos and other fun videos. So she's the one that helped me start on TikTok. And then these days, my little sister is just like, "Hey, is that another TikTok video?" I was like, maybe. So I'm on TikTok a lot these days, yes. And so that's one of the things I've learned from another intern. And I guess that one of the things I would like to highlight that I learned from the internship. I know, like Jean-Luc said, we're not really going to talk about Hive, but like basically blogging. I've learned a bit about blogging, and I find that interesting so far. The only thing that is well, less ideal is the time you need for it because I remember making my first post for Peaked. It took me a day. It really took me like a whole day. It's not a super long post, but once I got started writing, I went back, I came back to it, I asked some other people, and that's how I did my first post. And then I'm doing this challenge where I will try to post every day for 21 days, and I kind of enjoy it. Like it's an outlet, and I get to share my experiences. Even my little sister was like, "Yeah, you can do this because you have so much stuff. Go ahead, write about it."
Yeah, you should. If it's an outlet and you can, jot your thoughts down somewhere, you can reflect on it. Other people can find it. But I want to move on to two things. Well, let's start with one thing first. Uh, Mitchell mentioned something important there: business culture or culture in general. And most of you are, I think, Lydian and Mitchell are in a startup. Um, so when you look at culture, startup culture, business culture, locally, where do you feel that we are, or what should change, or what should people adapt to um, make it in this digital world? Who wants to go?
What I think
Okay.
most efficient way in doing whatever they want to do. Like that in business, that would help a lot of people. Not being stuck in necessarily the old way of doing things and just objectively being able to look at what's the new better. You don't have to do the newest. You don't have to like we're in Suriname, we don't have to do what America does, but we can do what Canada does because they're a step behind and it's probably the most something like in every startup that people could learn it. And it's not just about technology, it's not just about seeing like, okay, does do we really need to come to work every day? Is that the most efficient use of your time and my time? Do Yeah, do I need a dress code? Do I not? And there's like a bunch of questions, and I feel like in this age, and I like seeing it, there's a lot of startups, there's a lot of people starting up and kind of trying to do it correctly, not just, hey, this is what I'm doing and this is what's always worked. Which, yeah, I don't know. If you want progress, you need to be. I don't. You need to not be scared of making change, of breaking the mold. I think people here are like startups overall, or like, I think business overall is sometimes a little bit too passive, and you
Okay.
should,
Sham wants to
yeah,
add
you could
something to
always
that.
learn from being a.
The socially awkward quiet Sham wants to drop some knowledge.
Yeah. Um, yeah, there were a few points that I could relate to what not really relate cause but in a way, yeah, relatability is something I'm trying to incorporate in my life. So, but it's more for me the business culture is um relatability is a very important aspect in business culture, if I might say that, um to relate to another person in which you would say, if you were to apply for a job and you um you start to learn about the business, the company's policies, and so but where you would stand, no, not stand, you would say, it's more you could relate to that person, where you would say, let me be that person that, yeah, how would you say, it's so much better in my mind than saying it in words. It's so embarrassing. If I could write it, because
That's
today
something you should definitely
Yeah,
do.
I was
Write a
about to
write a
say,
blog post on Hive
write it.
about this.
I think I have today I started up to I made my first post today. So yeah, it was very releasing in getting my all those words that was piled up. So I made a post. So that was mostly my introduction post. But secondly, I think I have my second post idea. So I'm going to write that after the podcast show. So yeah, thank you for that. But I would say um, human connections is something important in our daily lives. To connect with another person is um, yeah, to feel, yeah, I would say, if you would, if you could relate to something, it's more about to feel a part, to feel up, to feel a part of some. Oh my god,
You have to
why
feel
is,
part of something.
yeah,
Yeah.
um it's,
You got this. And
I'm
clearly, this
sweating.
is your second post now. So, once we're done with this, maybe it's your
I'm
third
going to
post.
write,
You
I'm
you,
going
you
to
can
write
break it
it.
down into
Because
multiple posts.
when I'm writing, I sound, personally, when I write something, I sound smart, but when I'm speaking, it's a no go for me. So I think that Hive is going to help me. It's going to be a journey to verbally speak better, because when I'm just writing, I could write so clearly, and yeah,
I
that is
think
something I've learned about myself. So yeah, so
And just so
yeah,
Can
you
I may
know, eh,
can I maybe add
people
add
relate to
on to
this.
what you just said?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sham. So I've recently been obsessed with this show called Umbrella Academy, right? And this guy, one of the characters, he basically has a speech problem where he can't seem to put into words what he really thinks. So a trick that his mom taught him is like, imagine the word in front of you, like visually, that the word is in front of you in your mind, and that basically, yeah, it's a movie, of course, and and there is a script, but I think that would make a lot of sense. Maybe you should try, you could maybe try that. You know, like
I've
put it in front
already
of you
watched it.
visually and talking. Did you catch that part?
I could relate to that character. And spoiler, he died.
I
Okay.
cannot. I am
Yeah.
unable to can, Sam.
Oh,
Really? Really,
you didn't
Sam?
know?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, not that
Can
I
we
No.
like
don't
get
know, but
some out of this podcast right now? I'm
No. No,
pissed.
Lydia. No, Lydia. It's fine. It's fine.
You can kick me
No.
out, so choose
he,
other intern. Choose
he
other
said what he
No.
it's
needed
No.
to
No.
fine. It's
say.
fine, Sam.
Yeah, well,
It's
people are
fine.
enjoying this too much, so we're
Oh,
not kicking anybody out. I think it's an interesting topic, and I think what people like when people look at me, if I stand in front of a crowd, they forget that like my first two interactions with the public were really really awkward. My first time in front of a camera as part, I used to work at Apinti. I kind of did an internship at Apinti TV television in Suriname when I was 17, and I was doing behind the scenes. I did some small edits, and I did some small edits. I did some light and camera work and sound work. And back at the day in the branding, which was is a popular show at Apinti, it didn't exist yet. So I'm that old. It was before in the branding, and there was like a traffic accident on the street, like the Gemeenelandsweg, which is the street from Apinti, and the television crew, they just went out, took the cameras, and were like, we're gonna make a small report of this. And they put me in front of the camera. And I was like, I'm able to do this. And it was no news. It wasn't gonna be posted online or on television at the time. It was just for the camera crew to like, hey, we want to get a hang of doing these kind of live reports as well. Let's pull a camera out. They gave me a microphone and they asked just to tell the people what happened there. And I stood there, and as I was about to say like, hi, how everybody's doing, I lost my train of thought. Like I was standing there and I had no idea. I wasn't even able to say like where I was. I was like, we're standing here on the, and I was looking around and I lost it completely. And like when people hear me speak, like whether it's a podcast on stage in front of 300 people, it's like people are automatically like, yeah, it's easy. He's always done that. But they don't realize that I struggled with uh, oral presentations during English, during Dutch classes in high school. I was socially awkward in front of a camera the first time. I didn't do anything. I didn't understand anything, how it worked. My first performance in Teatro Talia was a disaster as well. Actually, the person who interviewed me, I had lunch with her today, and she will ask me like, "How are you doing?" And I responded back, "How are you doing?" And it was like complete disaster. And people forget that these kind of things, like that's how you start.
Yeah.
Like people forget that's where you start. Like you don't see the past 15 to 20 years of how I developed my speaking habits. And that at a certain point, I was just like, whenever I'm in a group at university, whenever I'm in a group, whenever there's an opportunity to present, I will present. And I did that for 3 years straight. For 3 years, every group project that I did, I wanted to present just to improve on that skill. And I had situations where my mouth was completely dried up. I couldn't speak without everything getting white, those kind of things. And then you learn about every kind of preparation that you can do until you reach a certain point where you just can go on stage and you just can talk for like 15 minutes with any topic. But it's just so much repetition that it kind of goes fluently, because what people don't realize as well is that before you start this conversation, in your head, you're already prepping. So even when I do a presentation, and it looks like I put the presentation together an hour before I'm doing the presentation. I've been growing through that whole presentation for 3 weeks, and that's just part of the curve,
Yeah.
part of the learning curve. So it's just what you want to do. You can become a great speaker, or you could become a great writer, and both options are possible. You just choose for yourself what you want to do.
And one thing to add to that, one way to look at it also is these stories, these first times, it's amazing content. When you look back 5, 10 years ago from where you started, it's basically free content that you've generated yourself over the years. So you can use that. And as you said, you can more easily relate back to people because telling these stories makes you more human to feel, oh, he was that. He's not that perfect speaker. So look at it as creating content.
Is it like the YouTubers? The YouTubers like 5 years from now, they're like looking at my old videos, cringe. Do you know those kind of headers, right? When you see them on YouTube, it's because like everybody starts somewhere.
Look, can we see the one where you didn't know on which street you were for research purposes?
I have to be
For research
honest.
purposes, sure.
I have to be honest. That was 20 years ago, so I'm not still sure if it's still in the archives.
The evidence is gone
I
for
was
that.
2 years old. How old are you?
Yeah, we're not gonna disclose my age now.
Oh wow,
We're
I
not
feel like a
not
baby
gonna do
now.
that. Yeah. Oh, so interesting question here for you guys from Twitch. How hard is this year's internship rated from 1 to 11? By the way, this is being asked by an alumni, so might be interesting to hear your take on this.
Um, can I answer that? Since Sham took away my chance to speak the first round. I'm
Go
just kidding.
ahead, go ahead.
Yeah. I think on a scale of 1 to 11, was it, or 1 to 10? I think
1
I'm
to
tripping.
11.
1 to 11, right?
Jessica
Yeah.
says it's a 12.
Yeah, I think it's a solid. I'd say like a 7. Yeah, a 7. Just a little bit past. I think if you have the normal discipline of keeping up with what you do and keep doing it, then you'll be okay. It's not that hard, but it is a lot of consistency and a lot of devotion. So I think that's the only challenging part about it. But overall, the assignments aren't really that difficult, or yeah, to me, they aren't.
How about for you, Luciano? Because Lydia is basically a content creator, so she's used to this
Yeah,
consistency.
so I think I might agree with my little sister that she was the one that said 12. I'll tell 12 too because it's a lot of new information for me. And I am someone that will study up and try to read on it and look at videos, but I didn't have time for every subject to do that, which would love to do, but I'm also busy with other projects, which makes it harder for me to really have a whole lot of time to do one thing.
Is that a particular subject that, like, hey, I wanted to dive deeper into this specific subject that you've gone
Oh,
over
I
the three
did
weeks?
that because that was hype. That was hype for me. I probably read around for a week, and then when I came on Hive, I keep reading around and getting into other people's blogs, and I keep going and going. I think this week there were at least 2 days where I spent way more time on Hive than I was thinking. I was thinking like planned out.
Way more time is still not enough, my friend. Mitch.
Yeah, it isn't. It isn't. It is a lot on there. There's a lot on there.
Mitch, I saw you unmute just now. Did you want to add something?
No, I forgot my train of thought. No, I don't. I don't want to ask anything.
So
But
since
now I
we're
would say
yeah,
like it was a. If you're gonna quote, I'm closer to Lydia. I would also call it a hard 7. Like it's not wildly difficult, but you do need commitment. I think yeah, that's the most you need to committed to getting done what you and the consistency to getting it done. And I think that's also like the overarching question why social media marketing isn't just posting every now and then. It's having a plan and executing, which are two different things,
Thank
both
you for pointing
equally.
that out. Thank you for pointing that out. Planning and actually executing are two different things. Definitely.
Yeah. So yeah,
I
that's
have
what I would
planned
say
to be
on.
more active on social media for half a year now. I've planned it. I haven't executed on it.
Okay, okay. I have a question for you
Yeah, I
guys
saw the
now.
hot post.
So I'm gonna put Shanluk on the spot. So Shanluk's part of the ineffable team. You guys, many people know Shanluk as the social media guy. So what is your current feedback to Shanluk on his social media activity? Who wants to go?
His social status, like,
On the
Yeah,
spot.
Whoop,
he's
whoop.
like looking at his social activity. Well, what's your feedback to Shanluk?
I
What
would
should he
say,
do different? What should he
mm,
focus on? Well, what's your perception? How
I'm
my
you
only
receive it?
allowing feedback on my Twitter account, no other socials.
Wow, I'm not on Twitter.
mm,
Go ahead, go ahead. I'm really looking forward because I have a meeting with the team tomorrow. So all the feedback that you're giving me now, I'm gonna take into consideration and share with the team as well. Also, part of the team is also listening in. Damiro is also listening in, and I think Ashley. I saw Ashley as well. And you're also getting, guys. You're also getting, and girl and lady. You're also getting a shout out from Damien as well, who's joining in as well.
Hey,
oh, yeah,
Damien. Yeah,
mm,
so Shaluk socials, I honestly before this internship and things like that, I kind of just use them to check like what's happening on social media. Is there anything interesting? And then I go back to my other stuff. It's the truth. I'm not sure if that's cruel or anything, but that's usually what I do when it comes to
Okay,
Shaluk's socials.
so
I
you are a
mean,
news source, a news source.
news source, yes,
Oh, they've
that's my
gotten the news
impression.
sources in week one. They got it Nafal, they got it Simon Sinek, Gary Vaynerchuk, Sham already mentioned them. So they got plenty of news sources. I ain't worried about that. But I'm gonna step up. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Well, how about
Lydian?
the rest, you guys?
Yeah. I would say on Hive you are pretty I'd say active, like those long texts where you just explicitly talk about what it is you're going to do and how much time you're going to do it, and very persistent about it. I haven't seen it yet in how do you say it, practically. I've seen it, I just read it, but I would say I do understand because it is hard to run a company or be a part of a company and at the same time have a active social media presence, because I have been feeling that more and more each time again, and it sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I got it, that's the trick, but then work comes and you're like, oh no, I don't got it, so it's definitely a challenge to keep up with your social media presence. But I would say I would enjoy a lot more content from Shanluk in his day-to-day life, what it is that he's busy with, even though that's really difficult. I think the only way to do that is to hire a camera crew or start a reality show.
Get my own
But it
DLAC.
is
And
quite
we did
interesting
that in the
how you're
past,
able
by
to
the way.
juggle all
You
of
had
that.
that.
And I would
I'm not
love that
sure if
content.
I'm not sure if I pulled the flocks. Maybe I should get the flocks out for you guys. I think a lot of those flocks are unlisted on YouTube now. But I did do that once upon a time with Giorgio, with Miguel Manas, way back, and this is like 3, 4 years ago now, Diego. But it's good feedback, Leah. I appreciate it. And Tevin, listen, they're gonna get pizza, but they're gonna get pizza on Hive. You know that, okay?
I wanted to add something though. When it comes to Shanluk's content, I think like something that might help catch people's attention a bit more is shorter videos, shorter clips, because of the attention span of the younger folk, especially. It's they're not when they see a post like that, a blog post or something like that. I'm someone who would read it, but I know a lot of people who will not. but they will watch like a 10-second video of you doing something, and then that will catch their attention, basically.
Oh, this is so perfect. It's so perfect because Luciano, you know what's gonna happen, right? In week 7 and 8, you will be making that short video content, right?
Oh yeah, well, I'm getting ready. TikTok
Awesome,
addict.
awesome. Tanya, have you missed a lot? Well, we're basically on the verge about talking about Hive after this question, so you're right on time. If you guys haven't followed Tanya Colader at on Hive yet, go follow her. She's
She's
one
the
of the
queen.
consistent people. Actually, yes, tomorrow there's gonna be a lot be discussed, and now I have social proof that the interns were first of all more content of mine, and secondly, shorter videos. So, no, Damiro, my TikTok is not used for that purpose. If you haven't followed me on TikTok now, shameless plug to follow me on TikTok. You're gonna have a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun content coming on there. Just not me dancing. Maybe once with my daughter in the next month, but that's it. So, yeah. um, so what I want to ask you, because you know that Ashley and Namiro are helping you guys out with the internship. Can you ask them next time you speak to them on Slack? Ask them if you can see their TikTok videos that they had to make as an assignment as well for NFMO.
Is it
Thank
public?
you. Definitely will. Definitely will.
Then we'll just be like, oh, so you want to judge me, huh? But look at your TikTok. No, I'm just kidding.
All of a sudden, they're not responding anymore in the comments, but it's fine. Diego, do
Oh.
we want to do some over unders, or do we want to talk a little bit about Hive? What do you guys and what do you lady and gents think?
Yeah, I think Luciano definitely wants to talk about Hive. I'm curious to know some like Mitch and Shams and Lydians, like um, yeah, how you guys perceive Hive. Like, is it something you see being adopted by more people? Is it the next trend for social media, or is it something parallel to current social media? How do you guys see Hive?
Hmm,
Mitch.
that's interesting. I would definitely give it a chance, but I don't. Am I? I'm unmuted. Right? I would definitely give it a chance, but I don't feel like I'm the right person to judge these kind of things because I'm a just use something that's weird that no one's ever heard of and just enjoy it. And then I was into anime before it became cool. So who knows?
Okay, so how
uh,
would you describe Hive? Because someone's asking, could you talk what Hive actually is? How would you describe Hive in one or two sentences to someone who
how
doesn't
would
know it?
how would I describe Hive in one or two? I would say it's a new way of it's like a more decentralized way of profiting of I don't say your life. I would say that's what I would call it. It's like you you having the power and kind of just you also getting the rewards for uh exposing yourself or not, exposing sounds kind of dirty, but showing who you are online and trying to add value to a community that way. That's what I would.
So, profit on your life. Mitchell's wise words. Lydia, anything to add or to your view on
Yeah.
Hive?
I view Hive quite differently. Oh, I think I've heard you a little bit later that because of the connection. But can you hear me correctly?
Yeah.
Oh, it's stuck.
Yeah, Lydian is
Yeah,
a
I'm
little
back.
bit stuck now. You're
Yeah,
back. I think
I'm
you're back.
having oh, I'm having connection problems, but that's okay. So yeah, my view on Hive, and I've said this before to my fellow interns, I was like, "Yo, Hive is the future." And I remember figuring out my way the first day. So much information. I remember Jean-Luc sending all of these articles to read about how to start up on Hive. And I was like, that's a lot of reading. But at the end of the day, it's almost just like any other platform. I would almost dare to say that it is a mix of, I think, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all of it in one, but then limited when it comes to certain things. At the same time, it's what Mitchell said as well. I think it's nice to have a platform where you can actually generate income, to just share about what it is that you want to share for the day, because ultimately there is a community that is interested in what you share. Maybe to you it might be unnecessary, but there is someone out there that is connecting with whatever it is you're sharing. And I think that it is an amazing platform, and I am looking forward to deep diving into it.
Okay, and Sham, have you started?
Can you can you rephrase that question again?
Okay,
Um,
your view on Hive. Do you see it like how do you see it? Uh,
well, um, I was scared to use any of the I see that Hive is a decentralized ecosystem where people have their yeah, they own their own rights to post anything and make a certain income of it when if they take it seriously. Um I was like, I should take this seriously because um I made my account, but wasn't certain if I made the right account because I didn't know that it was divided in so many decentralized platforms. And so I chose sorry I chose a platform that was recommended as an example when we got introduced by Sean. So I was like, which one should I choose? And everyone chose the most relatable one. And I have heard it has uh, more of Facebook feel, cause but then again, and the one I'm using is Ecency, if I'm saying it right. So I made my account in the same week, but I didn't post because I was like, my God, I should share my feelings on this platform. People should know about me. Who wants to know something about this or socially awkward person? So then I thought maybe I should. Then I said, oh no, I should be committed in this internship and finish my assignments because yeah, this is one of these assignments. But then in my post, I referred Chanluk because he wisely said something that I've mentioned in my post. He said, um, "Oh my God, I want to say it in Dutch, but I'm going to say it in English because if I should,
What's
yeah,
your name?
just
The your username on Hive?
um, Sham and double B,
Okay. Quickly gonna find it as you just continue on.
yeah." So he said, yeah, that inspired me this weekend to ma- yeah, I started writing, made a draft, and when I made a draft I wanted to post it yesterday, but we had other assignments to focus on. So uh I was trying to manage my time as trying, yeah, time management skills is one of the key important things that we are learning in this internship because I'm just, oh, if I could let my words flow like a caption above my head, it would be better to be mute than Anyways, but my yeah, I when I made a post, I was satisfied, so I tried to assure myself to be consistent on the app because we were challenged to do this assignment. So, but along the way, I want to see where it will bring me future wise, and what I could learn from other experts on the decentralized ecosystem. So I thought I would get a crash course besides reading a PDF because I was like, so some technicalities of the app is really annoying me as other interns, such as you have to get upvoted, or you should get a hive power to comment, or I don't know. 'Cause really, the notifications came like an hour. Can I said, should I delete my account and deactivate it?
You know
Cause
what? Okay, so quick tip for you. With the same logins that you log into Ecency, you can also log into Peak. So you can
yeah,
just
I
if you
stalked
use you
I
use
stalked
Peak.
a few interns here,
Ecency
so
is really as a mobile app. It's basically the only choice if you want to have a mobile app for Hive at the moment. It's the only serious option. I think Leo Finance is still in beta, but I mean Ecency is great if you want the mobile solution. But I like most people indeed use Peak because uh, it's easier. Tanya says, "Don't worry about it. It gets better. Be your authentic self." Sham, I think you just being yourself. You have to find the right people kind of on the platform that have similar interests as you have. And I think that's important. Like what the main thing which people struggle with when they're new is understanding how communities work because it's very tribal culture. It's pretty much tribal culture. So you have to be part of a tribe on Hive to to kind of benefit really from the ecosystem. So that's the first thing: finding out which tribe, which community you you relate to the most. And secondly is the tags. Like the tags are really killing people. The reason Luciano got like one of the best introduction posts this year and got the most upvotes on it as well is because he used the right tags, and one of the first five tags that he used got him into like the algorithm of people upvoting. And if you don't use the right tag, you're just gonna get zero response because nobody's gonna see it. So I think understanding how tags work, it's kind of similar that sense to Twitter. Like if you know use the right tags, and if you're part of like this kind of tribe that's interested in the same topic, it's kind of easy to navigate. But if you just start posting and you don't use the right tags, you don't get seen, and you can go on for months without being discovered, and people will be like, "Wow, such great content! We never saw it." So I think that's also part of social media is understanding how you become visible as well. I think that's the biggest challenge on Hive for most people.
All right, close us off, Luciano, since you're the leading the way for the interns on Hive now.
Well, my view on Hive is more that it's like parallel to the more mainstream social media. The learning curve will be a lot for most people. I think I'm not sure a lot of people will put in the work to get to that step. So I'm not sure if there's like a future yet, like that it will be widely adopted by a lot of people yet in Suriname, so to speak, because sometimes in the past, even getting people to do like an online quiz or something like that is like a bridge too far because people don't get it, and now they have to go read up a bit on blockchain and how all of that works. It's not a little bit of leading though. That's also a thing. But I think it's going to be parallel to more mainstream social media. I don't think that's ending, but I see Hive only like improving in the future. For me personally, I'm going to view it more as my blogging platform. I'm going to try out blogging, going to try writing. I'm going to use it for that mostly. So I'm honestly kind of happy it doesn't have an app right now. That the front end I'm using Peaked, because that means I have to sit in front of my laptop to write, and I take more time to write. Because if it was on my phone, I would probably be doing that between trips, things like that, and the quality might be less. So for now, Hive, I don't see it per se as like something that will become that mainstream, but I do think it will keep on existing and keep on improving. And I'm here for the ride.
I think that's a fair way to look at it, and what works for you, right?
Yeah.
Sean-Luc, any final thoughts, tips,
Yeah,
closing thoughts for the
I think
interns
it's
as we close
interesting.
off?
I mean, once you really get to see like most people that get introduced, like the old way people got introduced into Hive is like earn money while blogging. That was basically the main concept. So most of the front ends are very blog based. And for instance, I'm not able to post daily like a long blog post like Luciano is doing. I've done it in the past. I've done daily videos in the past, and the return on investment was a lot higher than it was on YouTube when it comes to monetization perspective. But through a community building perspective, it wasn't so much. It wasn't kind of the same vibe that you would get, especially if your audience is like a local based audience. So that's something to remember as well. Similar to Twitter and Pinterest, Hive is very international. You make friends in New York, you make friends in South Africa, you make friends in New Zealand. Like these are just people that I talk with on Hive, or like from all the different continents. Like every continent, I can connect with people on Hive. And in the past, I've actually met up with people as well that I've met through Hive for the first time. And I think it's a learning curve. And then at a certain point, you start realizing, like, oh, wait, Hive does have something else than just blogging for me, which I find interesting. And I, I I am an avid blockchain gamer now, which I never thought that I would be. Like I never thought that blockchain gaming
Really?
would be a thing for me. But blockchain gaming for me is awesome because I used to play SimCity a lot. Like I used to be a big SimCity player, and now I play D-City, which is in some cases even more complicated. But I actually get to sell cards that I own, and I can actually make a profit from it, or I can continue to build my city and have a bigger governing stake in it. And it's the first time that I paid to play, but in the end, when I'm done with the game, I can sell it all off and have my money that I initially invested in the game back. Whereas old games, you purchase the game, you play it till it's done, and your $20 is gone. Whereas now you put $20 into a game and you start earning $1 a month or even $1 a day from it, and all of a sudden it becomes like another stream of income. And I think we're still in the early phase of this, but if you're patient, if you're not into blockchain purely to make a short profit or a quick buck or something that, hey, I'm gonna get rich off crypto, if you really use blockchain technology in the way it's intended, oh, you're gonna enjoy it 10 years from now. You're just gonna enjoy it because you understand how the ecosystem works before others do. And yes, if you're going on Hive, I said it and I said it over again, don't lose your keys. Right, Recall? Don't lose your keys.
Not your keys, not your cheese.
that's
Awesome.
that's the main thing. Yeah.
Sham, you still want to add something right before we close off? So you just
A comment from Damiero where he said if Hive would replace Facebook and Instagram, I don't think any platform can replace each other because everybody is like you have a key and every key has a door. So if if you don't have the right key for the right door, it won't open for you. So some people in Suriname will only mostly relate to um, social media
The
that's
biggest
yeah.
relate.
platform, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, they would only relate to platforms that they can use, and it makes easier for them. But along the way, if the right person, or the yeah, I wouldn't say the right person, but um
If it does happen, it's gonna take time, but I highly doubt it.
yeah,
Facebook is too much of a superpower. But that's the interesting dynamic I see between something like Facebook and a network like Hive. It's
Okay,
a different power dynamic, and
okay,
because
but if
you,
it
in order to learn something, you gotta start somewhere. So I'm starting to learn a lot of new stuff
yeah,
that's really,
being early has a lot of advantages. You won't see
yeah,
it
and
now,
and
but
some disadvantages, but
yeah,
go
but
ahead.
you gotta be
Mucho
optimistic.
errors. Bakit?
Okay, Mitch, I'm
yeah.
giving you the last word, and then I'm gonna close us off.
Oh no, I was just gonna add to that conversation. Like it might not replace Facebook or Instagram, or those are one company now. So, but could it be maybe Reddit or Discord?
No. Well, it's different. You gotta see the use cases. I think like Reddit has a specific use case, Discord has a specific use case, and it's like the same communities use each platform in a different way. If you look at it like that,
That's true.
so it's you gotta see what matches for you, find your tribe, find your community, and take advantage of that. But this was amazing, guys. Thanks
Yeah.
for coming on. Welcome back, Lydia, as we close off.
Yeah,
So,
I
Final
was
thoughts. Final
gone.
thoughts. Go ahead. Go ahead. Give us your
I
final
I
thoughts.
wanted I wanted to add on to that because in the beginning when I was still learning about Hive, I had I had a lot of questioning in my mind, like, okay, do you post this and do you post that? Like, how safe is this? How many people will be able to see this? Because when Facebook just had launched the first time, people were kind of still figuring out what the use of it would be and how to properly get a lot out of it. But it was just like a social media platform, you know. But I think with the rise of social media marketing and everything that's been going on in tech world, basically you are at least I was a little bit careful with what I posted. But I've seen the last few days that a lot of people just bluntly post on Hive what it is. It's very blunt, very bluntly post what it is that they think about a certain subject, or how they feel about something. And I think that I still need to learn to get comfortable on the platform, because like any other platform, it does get dangerous when you start to post without thinking. It's exposing yourself ultimately, so you do have to be careful in every instance. um One of my posts basically had the caption written, coming out as pansexual, and I remember being like, should I delete that post? Is that too much? But recently found out that I found a community which is actually focused on talking about the topics about coming out as pansexual. So that kind of felt like a little bit of coming home. So I think that Hive does have the potential to replace Facebook, but I think that Hive is more a platform for content creators and people that actually like to profit off of their content. I think that's the holy grail for us. But other than that, I would love a world where Facebook, Instagram, and Hive could coexist, basically, because they do have their own purpose. Yeah.
perfectly said, and Tanya agrees. Awesome. With that being said, it's been awesome having you guys here. I hope you guys will finish the internship flawlessly. Looking forward to, was it week 7, where they're gonna do some snippets for the podcast, generate some content for the podcast, uh, and I will be back in Suriname next week, so that's when we'll get the full steam again, because I think that the website is lagging behind on the episodes. I haven't managed to edit them, so there's an opportunity as well. If you want to learn how to edit, just hit me up. And with that being said, Chanduk, closing thoughts, and then you can wrap us up.
Well, I really want to thank the interns for joining in. It was a pleasure to have you here. I hope you enjoyed it as much as well. And like Diego said, he's in a city that never sleeps, so he has to go on and do some partying. Diego, really, really enjoy Vegas, and we'll see you back here next week, same place, same time. Thank you for all for watching. Thank you for listening to this episode, and see you back next week. Bye bye.
Right.